I'm Michael Seitz, joined by Alberto Calderon. Welcome back to another episode of Cal and Seitz. We got a wide variety of topics tonight, including the NHL, college football, and the NFL. We're going to start in the NHL. Let's just get right into it. Today, Gary Bettman said that they're looking to start in mid-January, play 50 to 56 games, and there's also a possibility of teams hosting many outdoor games this year so they can have fans. I just want to know your immediate reaction to this, Alberto.
I mean, my immediate reaction is I didn't know they were going to plan to play outdoor games until you just mentioned it. That's a pretty interesting idea. Like, how would they do it? In a ballpark? In a baseball ballpark? A major league?
I would assume it would be like the Winter Classics and Stadium Series stuff. So
that's a very good idea. I mean, obviously, concerning the virus, obviously, if you're outdoors, it's less of a chance you get it. Obviously, more so indoors that you contract it. But I like it. 52, 56 games. How many games did they play in the lockout season in 2013 or 14? Which
42 or something. I think they played half a schedule, like 41. So
okay. So it's still going to be more than the lockout season.
I mean, I was hoping they would play like 60, but they did such a good job with this bubble thing. I've kind of been surprised that they haven't made more progress on this season.
Yeah.
Already. So, I mean,
no, you're right.
Our viewers might not know this, but we're two avid hockey fans. We love our NHL, so we are very excited to see them come back. But it was interesting, the list of teams that were thinking about holding outdoor games. Some you would expect, like Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Boston, but others, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Carolina, Dallas, and Nashville, all expressed extreme interest in hosting outdoor games. That'd be very interesting. It'd be very interesting.
Outdoor game in Los Angeles.
They've had it before. They played at Dodger Stadium once. So.
They have, really?
Anaheim and LA played there 1 year. They had beach volleyball going on while the hockey game was in the outfield. So it was fun seeing. And they had it. The Cotton Bowl had it last year in Dallas for Nashville, Dallas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So it'll be very interesting to see. They also have to figure out the division alignment. So Justin Trudeau in Canada require a 14-day or 10-day quarantine going into Canada now. And you have, 7 Canadian teams? So there's talk of their own Canadian division, which personally I dislike a lot. But, I mean, if you have to do it, you have to do it. But now the other day, Bettman said there's a possibility of just having an all-Canadian playoffs too, almost guaranteeing a Canadian team an appearance in the Cup Finals, which a Canadian team hasn't won the Cup since, 93.
So you're saying that it would be an all-American bracket versus an all-Canadian bracket.
Yeah.
And a Canadian representative and an American representative in the final.
That was an idea. Or at the very least, they would go to the conference finals. Guaranteed Canadian team in the conference finals. Which I hate. I still hate.
No, it is. I mean, because you take the 7 Canadian teams and you're only playing among those 7 teams. Which is not, that's not inclusive of the entire league.
It'd be different if it was 15-16 or 14-17 or something like that. Then that would be more understandable. But it's, 7-25 or something? Or 22
7
or something?
Teams only.
That's not right. So
no, that would be all-inclusive.
It'll be interesting to see, and we will see more details, I believe, in the next couple of days and weeks. Hopefully we can get puck drop soon. But the main thing that they need to focus on is getting the 2021-22 season right in 82 games and normal.
Yeah, so they got to get back on track for the next season, for sure.
And it looks like the NBA is setting themselves up to do that. The MLB set themselves up to do it. They released their schedule for this year back last July. Obviously, the NFL is not really has that problem, right? They have different problems. But it's the biggest thing for the NHL. Even if you end the Cup Finals a little bit later than normal, you can still have that fairly normal rest in between.
So, are they still planning to finish around the third week of June?
They didn't say. So I'm not really sure. Usually it's the first week of June.
That's right. Oh yeah, NBA is the third week of June. That's right.
So
or the second week of June.
I'm not sure. They haven't released it yet. I would assume they would push it back a little bit, but who knows at this point.
As long as they're back on track. I mean, it's a couple weeks. As long as they're back and playing, the second week of October.
And you could look at that worst case scenario. You could say, okay, just start in November and you just play 82 games, except you just take out that bye week that everybody seems to have now in the NHL.
Right.
Which it was nice, but I mean, you kind of have to do what you got to do. So,
exactly.
Let's shift gears now to college football. We're just going to talk about one game and maybe one other concept in college football. One game, BYU Coastal Carolina. It's supposed to be Liberty Coastal Carolina. Liberty's got COVID. BYU steps in. They get their game. Or did they?
I mean, they got their game. they got their game. This is their game, but I mean, it's not going to be enough to put them in the college football playoff.
They need one more. They need one more.
They need one more, and they need it to be a Pac-12 team, preferably probably USC, Oregon
or Washington.
Washington, right? Mm-hmm. You know, this should be a fun game because these are the two or the second and third best group of 5 teams, obviously trailing Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you think of this game? I don't know anything about Coastal. Obviously, BYU has what's his name? The quarterback.
The quarterback, yes. I can't. Oh my God, we can't think of his name. I can't think of his name right now. He's like number 5 on my board right now, and I can't even think of his name. Hold on, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything, much about Coastal Carolina.
I don't know much.
It should be a fun game. 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. It should be fun.
If we're looking at pure team stats, BYU 47.6 points a game, Coastal 38.7 points allowed. BYU 14, Coastal 17. BYU's averaging 536 total yards to Coastal's 448. So it should be a good one. The line
should be a good matchup. Yeah.
BYU minus 10.
Oh,
what do you think about that one?
I don't think BYU is going to cover that. I think we're going to see a good game.
Really? I think we're going to see a blowout.
In favor of BYU?
I think BYU is it's going to be close at first.
Yeah.
Maybe at halftime, BYU is going to pull away, I think. I think they're going to win by 17-20.
It's at Carolina, too. I mean,
it is, but BYU's ready for this.
I mean, this is their game. This is their Super Bowl right now, as of right now. But we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if BYU blows them out the water. I wouldn't
be surprised either way, but I just see BYU putting the foot on the gas and going.
Taking care of business. Oh. And if they do, who do you want to see them play out of the Pac-12 if they do schedule a game?
Out of the Pac-12?
Yeah.
Oregon, Washington, or USC. If I had to pick one of them, probably Washington right now. I mean, Oregon wouldn't hurt, but I'm looking at the Pac-12 standings right now. Obviously, Oregon had the loss to Oregon State, and they didn't look all that great in their other 3 wins.
Yeah.
Washington's 3 wins. Oregon State, they beat them by 6, but they blew out Arizona, which is good to see. And then they beat Washington by 3. Utah by 3. So I probably would want them to play Washington, but any of those 3 teams would be fine. And it helps that they're all ranked, which I don't know if they should be, but it helps that they're all ranked. So if they get one of those 3 opponents, that'd be cool. But in a perfect world, Oregon versus BYU would be a very good test. So
it would, and it doesn't help that Oregon lost last week to Oregon State, which just completely put a damper in the Pac-12 hopes, if there were any before that. So,
so we can move on now to Ohio State, who might not get another game, period, at all. Like they might finish at 4-0.
They just said like an hour ago that they're traveling to Michigan State and they're playing tomorrow.
Doesn't mean they're gonna play. I mean, it
doesn't mean they're gonna play, but they're on the road right now, going to East Lansing.
That's a good sign, but I mean, they're gonna beat Michigan State. We could definitely say that. But
if they play, they're gonna win.
Michigan is so uninterested at this point in their season. They are done. They're 2-4. They're gonna get stomped on in Columbus on the 12th. I would be surprised if they played the game.
That's what I was saying
at all.
That's exactly what I was saying on Tuesday. I think that Michigan would just forfeit that game. 1, to not get embarrassed, and 2, to prevent their rival from going to the playoff.
Absolutely.
I can see it happening. Harbaugh doesn't want to play that game. He doesn't have to, and he's going to be there next year. So what does he care?
Yeah, exactly. And Indiana would move into Ohio State's spot more than likely.
Yeah.
to play a Northwestern, maybe. And I can
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
if Ohio State does not qualify for their conference championship game, they should not make the college football playoff.
No, they're not eligible. They
Oh,
wouldn't be eligible.
okay.
I don't think so. But
I thought that was just for the bowl game or for the the conference
for
championship.
the championship game.
I mean, they can still make the college football playoff that way technically, but I don't think they're deserving at all. You can't play 5 games and just say, "Yeah, let us in."
No, exactly. I mean,
There are teams down south like Texas A&M and Florida who are going to end up with 10 or 11 games and 1 loss, and I take that in a tougher SEC
yeah.
with more weight than Ohio State being 5-0 in a weak, what appears to be a weak Big Ten this year.
No, it's very weak, especially in the Eastern Division with Michigan and Michigan State and Penn State. Having a combined 4 wins or something like
And now
that.
Penix is out for the year too, the Indiana quarterback.
That's right.
So,
oh man, it's a mess right there in the Big Ten. It's a mess.
So we're in agreement that Ohio State does not deserve to make the college football playoff if they don't play in the conference championship game. So,
no, and that would benefit Texas A&M and
Florida.
Cincinnati, and Florida controls their own destiny because if they win out, they're in.
True. That's true.
Texas A&M can't play. No, way like that. But if Cincinnati or if Ohio State doesn't play, Cincinnati is there.
I'm thinking about this right now. So let's say, hypothetical, just like we did with the North Carolina thing on our radio show back at Bonaventure a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Let's say Ohio State doesn't play Michigan.
Okay.
And the Big Ten allows them to schedule an out-of-conference game. What is the most likely thing that happens out of the 3? BYU and Columbus, Ohio State goes to Oregon, or Cincinnati goes to Columbus. What's the most likely out of the 3?
Oh, man. The most likely out of the 3, and if the NCAA – they'll definitely restrict the travel to Oregon or vice versa to Columbus.
I mean, they were already scheduled to play.
Listen, Cincinnati right now is 8-0. They haven't played in a couple weeks because of COVID and everything like that. They're looking to schedule a game because they've only played 8.
The only problem with that is Cincinnati's scheduled to play Tulsa on the day that Ohio State's scheduled to play Michigan. And Tulsa's ranked, and it's on the road, and that's probably going to be an AAC championship game preview. So
I honestly don't see any of them happening.
You see none of them happening?
I see none of them happening because you got this weekend, the following one, and then all the championship games are that weekend.
The only team that I think that would be doable for would be BYU then, because Oregon and Cincinnati already have scheduled games unless COVID hits the other team. Even then.
No, exactly. Yeah, unless COVID takes out the opposing side, there's no room for scheduling changes.
And even then, I don't know if the Big Ten wants them to play outside of Big Ten. So.
Exactly. They were
pretty clear by them earlier.
Exactly.
They don't want that to happen. So. We'll move on now to the National Football League. We're going to quickly recap the garbage game that was Wednesday. The Steelers should have beat them 56-14, but they could not finish. They could not score. It was ugly. RG3 got pulled with a mysterious leg injury. Harbaugh whined to the refs as normal. Steelers still came away with the win. Alberto, what are your thoughts on this game?
This was a shaky win by Pittsburgh. There's nothing else you can say about that. And, heading into – are they at Washington this week?
Home against Washington.
On Monday, right?
Monday at 5.
Oh, at 5?
At 5.
Oh, man, Jesus. Obviously Pittsburgh should win that game. Obviously what I saw from them 2 nights ago was bad. They almost lost the game because remember the third down play, Ben Roethlisberger threw it up there, lobbed it, should have been picked by either of the 3 Ravens that were there. But somehow, who caught it? Johnson caught it? Deontay?
No, Johnson had a terrible game. Washington caught it.
Oh, it was Washington who caught it. Oh, man, I don't know about this Steelers team. They're looking shaky right now. I mean, obviously, it could have been the layoff.
That's what I was just about to say. Roethlisberger in his career after layoffs is historically pretty bad in the next game. Historically, after a layoff, it takes him at least a half of football to get back into it. But if you look at Wednesday's game, it wasn't Ben's fault. Receivers dropped 8 passes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. Deontay Johnson had like 3 himself. Ebron had 3.
Ebron too, yeah.
It was bad. It was really bad.
I mean, they asked him to throw 50-something times, 50-plus times that game. First of all, the run game was non-existent because Connor was out.
No. Snell
wasn't going to do anything, and McFarland.
They don't use him right.
Also.
They don't use McFarland right. So
it's going to be concerning, not against this Washington game, but against the following week against Buffalo when they have to.
Absolutely.
That's a test.
And 3 games in 12 days or whatever it is too is tough.
That's tough.
If this game was in Washington, I would say this is technically a trap game. But if this game was in Washington, I might have the Steelers with a loss here. But since this game is in Hines, I think they're going to win. It's going to be ugly again, I think. But I think they'll get the win. But I just want to address the Steelers slander out there and say if the Kansas City Chiefs played the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule this year and we're 11-0, everybody would be praising them like they're the next coming of Jesus Christ. I just want to say that right now.
So you're saying there's a double standard.
If this was the Baltimore Ravens with this schedule and they were 11-0, Lamar would be the unanimous MVP. If this was the New England Patriots with Tom Brady and they were 11-0, they would be talked about as one of the greatest teams of all time. I'm just saying, there's a double standard there. And also, like I said, you can't control who you play. You can control how you play, but a win is a win is a win is a win. Doesn't matter how dirty it looks. At the end of the day, it's a win. Yeah. And the Baltimore Ravens, for an example, have the weakest schedule in the National Football League. They're 6-5. And you say, oh, COVID. Okay, 1 loss. They're 6-4. That's not good.
No. And they're out of the playoffs right now.
Correct. And also the Chiefs at 10-1 have not had a much harder schedule than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So.
No, not at all.
That's all I have to say about that. We can move on now.
No, there definitely is a double standard. I definitely could see that with, Lamar's team if they were 11-0, Mahomes' team if they were 11-0, and they're still 10-1. But
they're undefeated. Don't get me wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs are a very good football team. Them and the Steelers are 1-2 in the league. You could put either one at 1. It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, there was gonna be a double standard there. Like, if this was literally probably any other team except for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Imagine if the Cowboys had this schedule with Dak Prescott and they were 11-0. They'd be throwing the parade already.
Yep.
It'd be crazy. So,
especially Belichick and Brady too. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Or Tampa even. If Tampa was 11-0 with this schedule, it'd be insane. So we'll move on to this week's action. Week 13 already. We're going to start down in Hotlanta with the Saints and the Falcons. The Saints are 3-point favorites. I've got a lot to say about this game, but I'll let you go first.
I mean, you got a lot to say. I mean, the way that Atlanta played last week should kind of what are you going to say? Actually, you start off. What do you got to say about this game?
Taysom Hill is not a franchise quarterback. He's not a quarterback. He is a tight end. He is a runner. He's a special teams player. He's a fantastic athlete. Fantastic athlete. He's not a quarterback. No. I asked myself, I said, why would Sean Payton start Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston can throw the ball. He's got those new eyes. He had LASIK. I mean, I get it about the turnovers. Like, the only thing I could think of is limiting the turnovers. But that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Because you look at the Saints' schedule, these last 2 weeks, weak opponents in the Falcons and Broncos, at home against the Falcons too. The Broncos didn't have a quarterback, which it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Those are 2 shaky defenses that Taysom Hill can run all over. Doesn't have to throw much. He can make those freakishly athletic plays, yada, yada, yada with that. And he can take control of the ball and not turn it over. Same thing. Falcons and Eagles the next 2 weeks, I expect Taysom Hill to start both those games with confidence. Now we get to the Chiefs 3 weeks from now on the 20th. I would not be shocked if Hill started and Winston came in.
It's going to happen probably.
Down. They're going to get down and they're going to need to throw the ball, and Hill can't do that. consistently at least. So in the last 2 weeks, you got the Vikings and Panthers. Hill could start both those games, but when you get to the playoffs especially, you're going to need Jameis. And I would put him in there sooner than later. You've clinched a playoff spot, basically. They clinch with
and they won the division. They won the division.
Basically, yes. They clinch a playoff spot technically with a win and a Bears loss or tie, which might not happen this week. They're playing the Lions, but it's the Bears, so who knows. But they basically clinched the spot. They basically clinched the division. Get Jameis in the game. And I'm okay. Like, New Orleans could run a 2-quarterback system, a piggyback system. I would try to compare it to baseball in the opener. It's hard to do that. But you could start Taysom and have him run around, and if he's not doing anything, put Jameis in. Or you could start Jameis if he starts throwing picks, and you put Hill in and be more conservative.
Yeah, a little tag team scheme.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this game as a whole, though?
No, I 100% agree with you because, once you get to the playoffs, they might get that first week bye if they keep winning, and if Green Bay loses one more game or so.
But without Breeze, I still don't think the Saints are number one, though. They might get it, but I don't think they're number one. So
they might get that first bye, but they're not the best team in the NFC.
Exactly.
And once you get to the playoffs, you need an actual bona fide quarterback.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
No, you do. I mean, Taysom Hill is not going to cut it. He might not win that first game that they play.
Now, if you plug in, or I'll say this. Keep talking.
I mean, that's basically what I'll have to say because, you're going to play an actual playoff team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're going to have to throw the ball. That game's going to be in New Orleans. You don't necessarily have to run it. You obviously have a good, security blanket with Kamara.
Yeah.
But say you win that game, you move on to the divisional round. Then those are the big boys. And, Taysom Hill's not going to cut it. And that's why I think you're right. You got to put in Jameis Winston sooner rather than later.
If you plug in a Taysom Hill type quarterback into a Pittsburgh system, into a Baltimore system, I think it worked very well because of the defense. Yeah. Even the Bears, if you put them in the Bears system, it would work very well. Anywhere that has a top 10 defense, Washington even, you put him in there, let him run around, make a throw every once in a while, those teams would be fine. Would the Steelers still be 11-0 with Taysom Hill? No. But could they make a run? Probably. But the Saints, their defense isn't good enough. It's still a very solid defense, don't get me wrong. They're probably top half in the league, but not with Taysom Hill as quarterback. No. That's not a good gel right there. So
exactly. No, you're right.
Back to the game at hand. New Orleans is 3-point favorites at Atlanta. What's your pick in this game? Spread, money line? What do we got here? Over under is 45. It's oof.
Ooh, oh man. I definitely think the Saints are going to cover 3.
Okay.
I think they'll win pretty convincingly, maybe by 3 scores, 17, 20 points. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Falcons, they had a good game. That's it against Oakland. They had one good game. I think the Saints should just beat them. They should just take care of business, go on to 10-2, maintain that first spot in the NFC.
Okay.
What do you got for this game?
I'm staying away from this game from a better standpoint. Just because of Taysom Hill at this point.
Okay.
I think there's a chance the Falcons win this game. I think there's a chance they win this game by 3. Especially if that defense is able to force some fumbles and maybe pick off Hill in one of his 3 passing attempts. They might be able to do something. And like I said before, Ryan and the offense, even if Jones doesn't play, they still have Ridley and Hurst. Even if Gurley doesn't play, they can still put points up. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if either team wins. I'm going to pick the Saints just to be safe here. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went to Atlanta. So.
Okay.
All right, we're going to move on to the game of the week. This is really weird to say. Browns 8-3 against the Titans, who are also 8-3. Game in Nashville, Tennessee. The Titans are 5.5-point favorites. What are we thinking?
Yeah, this is going to be a good game because I consider the Tennessee Titans as the 3rd best team in the NFL. Obviously behind Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
Okay.
I really do think that
defense is really good.
They can hold their own.
Their defense is not good.
They're solid. It's not as good as last year's.
I don't trust their defense.
They take care of business. I think the 3 best teams in the NFL belong to the AFC.
Okay.
And I think, can they contain Hunt and Chubb? I think they will on Sunday. They're obviously not going to completely stop them, but they'll contain them. I'll take Tennessee in this game, maybe 28-21.
Okay.
Where's this game at? I don't even care where it is.
It's in Tennessee.
Oh, even better.
It's even better for you.
I'll take Tennessee by a touchdown in this game.
So here's where I'm at right now. I'm not sold on the Browns for obvious reasons. Not sold on the Browns.
Okay.
They're going to make the playoffs, absolutely. They can win a playoff game. I don't think this is a team that can go to the Super Bowl, obviously.
No.
But this is a team that can upset somebody. This is going to be one of the most boring games of football ever. It's going to be a run on every single play. Hunt, Chubb, Henry, every single play. Throw in Nichols in there, McNichols, whatever the hell his name is. The other Tennessee quarterback. Weather is 48 degrees and partly cloudy, no wind. Good for throwing, but not when your quarterback's Baker Mayfield. So I think this is going to end up being like a 24-21 Tennessee win. I don't know if they're going to cover. If I would bet this one, I'd bet the money line for sure. I think it's going to be, like I said, 24-ish, 21, 27, 24, maybe even a 21-17. But I think this is going to be a lot of running, not a lot of passing, quick game, milk the clock, time of possession as the Titans like to play. The X factor in this is going to be obviously be both run defenses. But I like Derrick Henry more than Chubb and Hunt, especially in December. It's Derrick Henry weather. It's Derrick Henry time of year.
Yeah.
So I like him that for sure. All right, we can move on to our next game. That would be where is it? There it is. Rams-Cardinals. Yeah, I defined it on here, right? Rams-Cardinals. We got the Rams minus 2.5. Road favorites? Am I reading that right? The Cardinals are home dogs. They're 2.5-point underdogs at home. The over-under on this game is 48.5.
That's a statement right there.
It is.
That's a statement right there. That's what, man, if that's what Vegas thinks about the LA Rams. I mean, I think it actually tells me more about Arizona and what they thought of them the last 2 or 3 games that they've played. Because I remember 3 weeks ago, right? The Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins.
That was fantastic.
Once in a lifetime play.
Yeah.
The loss to Seattle. That was a tough game. Thursday night game.
They played that game well. They played that game well.
Tough game, obviously, in CenturyLink Thursday night. And then the stinker against the Patriots at Foxborough this past weekend.
That's a trap game. That is your textbook definition of a trap game. The Patriots maybe are a little better than a trap team.
Yeah.
But still, you got a big divisional matchup against a rival who's 1 game ahead of you in the division. At home the following week, you go all the way across the country to a team that's hungry, and you don't get it done. That's textbook. So it'll be very interesting. But I think it is absolutely insulting to the Arizona Cardinals that they're underdogs in this game.
Really?
The Rams' defense is very good. If you put Taysom Hill in the Rams' offense, they'd probably be better than they are right now. Just saying that right now. Goff stinks.
Goff's terrible.
He has 1 good game every 4 or 5. I don't trust him at all for good reason. I like the Cardinals outright in this game. I think this is an easy pick. I think that Murray and Hopkins are going to wreak havoc all over Jalen Ramsey. He's due for a bad game. He's had a great year. Not taking anything away from him. He's due for a bad one. Hopkins is the best receiver in the league. I'm pretty sure that's undisputed at this point. Maybe Devontae Adams. But Hopkins is definitely top 3. Probably the best receiver in the league. He's going to torch Jalen Ramsey on the outside all day. And I'm also looking if Fitzgerald plays to get him involved a lot over the middle, where they love to use him. He has not been used as much this year. This is a game where you break him out. I think that the Cardinals are going to come out insulted now in this game. As we speak, the line moves to 3.
Wow.
So it's still trending in the way of the Rams.
And I think LA is going to win this game.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually kind of a believer in LA. Me and you both thought that entering this season, LA was the worst team in this division. But, they were still going to be a 7-9, 8-8 team. It's not like they were completely struggling.
Correct.
But I think the Rams, after playing this year, after playing thus far, I think they're a good team.
I mean, they believe in themselves.
Yeah, they believe in themselves. Obviously, they're not a Super Bowl contender,
Well,
but I think you can't consider LA.
I don't think they are, but one can make the argument. I'm not going to make this argument because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But one can make the argument that the Rams, by their defense, can get to the Super Bowl, especially in the weak NFC.
They could, yeah, especially this year. Definitely on the weaker side. I think the Rams are going to win this game. DeAndre, like you said, is going to go off. That's just – you can't really contain that man. He's the best receiver in the league. But LA's going to come out with the win. Goff's going to play well. He's going to get all of his targets, Kupp, Robert Woods, everybody. They're going to win this game. I like Rams in this game. For some reason, I have a gut feeling LA's going to win this game.
What's the score going to be?
I'd say around maybe like a 30-28 game, something like that. I think so. I think LA will be in the lead the entire game or so. It's going to be close. It's going to be within a possession for the entirety of the game. But LA is going to squeak out a win here.
So both teams need this win. If you really look
100%.
More so Arizona. Seattle. I would say more so Arizona, but the Rams are coming off a stinker against the Niners where their offense didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be close, but I just something is calling out to me, telling me take the Arizona Cardinals for all you have. Don't do that, please. But take the Arizona Cardinals in this game. I am highly considering taking the Arizona Cardinals in this game. You can take them points. You can take them money line. It doesn't matter. I think they're going to win outright. Don't know about the point situation, over/under wise, but I think the Cardinals are gonna win this game, and it's gonna make it real interesting. Because like I said before, I say every time we do a show, whether it's on the radio or on YouTube here, I don't know what the Rams are. I don't think I'll ever know what the Rams are at this point. I just cannot figure out who they are, what they're trying to establish on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. All right, we'll move on to our next game, and that would be, the Giants and Seahawks. Woo! First place teams right here. It's a battle of first place teams, Alberto.
It is.
In Seattle, 4:05 on Fox. Seattle is 10.5-point favorites.
Yep.
No Danny Jones, more than likely. Nope. Doubtful. He's not out yet, but he's not going to play.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see who do we got in this one.
Oh man, you just can't pick against Seattle in this game. Colt McCoy is going to start for the Giants.
Oh,
he hasn't started the game, and what are you thinking here?
Who's going to win?
I mean, you should be picking Seattle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But
I thought you were making that sound because you thought Giants could.
No, I was just saying Colt McCoy is.
I mean, who knows? I mean, he hasn't started a game since he was at Texas. I mean, for all we know.
I started one when he was a Brown, I'm sure.
No, I'm just making fun of, he's just that old.
But yeah,
it's ancient now.
I feel like this game is going to be a repeat of the Sunday night game or Monday night game with Seattle and Philly. The one that I try to block out of my head because they went for 2. That one.
So you think Seattle is going to lay a stinker in this one, but still win?
Not a stinker, but I mean, I do think Colt McCoy is going to be able to throw a little bit on the Seattle secondary.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that it's going to be pretty not close throughout, but the Giants will stay within shouting distance. And it'll be about a 10-point game, and Seattle will either add on at the end and win by 17, or they'll just take knees and run out the clock. But I think that the Giants will still have hope throughout the majority of this game, especially if they can get Gallman going. If they get Gallman going, it'll be very interesting. And I really do think that the Giants are going to come out pretty hyped up for this game. Not that it probably shouldn't matter, but I think that they're going to come out a little motivated for this one, knowing they control everything. So
they do.
It'll be real interesting to see what goes on down there. Move on to Monday, December 7th at 8:15. The Buffalo Bills at 8-3 travel to the San Francisco 49ers at 5-6. This game being played in Arizona because of the Santa Clara contact sport ban. Even is the line. The line is even, Alberto.
Really?
I don't know what to make of this game. What do you think?
First I want to say that this is going to be Buffalo's second time playing in Arizona this year.
It's like their fourth time going out west.
It is, right? They played. Seattle came to them.
That was at home. They went to Arizona, obviously.
Well, they're going both times.
They're going there again to play San Francisco. They had to go out to Oakland, Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
And they won. And no, that's it. And they still have to go out to Denver, but that should be.
That's right. The AFC East had to play both West divisions this year.
Happens.
Which happens every 16 years. So.
Or so.
Or something like that.
Or so.
Something cyclical. Yeah. But I think Buffalo should win this game. Whenever I give praise to Buffalo, I hate to say it because I'm not the biggest Buffalo guy. I'm not the biggest Josh Allen guy.
Being at school, that is an hour south of Buffalo, you grow to very much dislike the Buffalo Bills as much as you want to like them. You grow to not like them at all. But
it's just the Bills. This is the first time they're good since the early '90s, and it obviously happens when we're freshmen and sophomore in the beginning of our college experiences. So, and I just can't pick against the Bills in this game. The 49ers played a good game last week, right? Against LA Rams, shut them up on offense. The offense for the Rams scored only 6 points or something like that, 9 points. I think the Bills should win this game. It's a Monday night game. No one's going to be there. The Bills are just a better team in this game.
Yeah, but this screams trap game too. Hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers in one of the, if not their biggest game of the year.
Okay.
On primetime also. They're going out west again, third time. Arizona a second time to play the 49ers. What a weird sentence that was. But Nick Mullins looked good in the last game. Mostert's back. Okay, they got Samuel. They're getting healthy. Richard Sherman's back. The Niners are getting healthy. And I said this before, when all four teams are healthy in the NFC West, the Niners are not the worst team.
No.
They're not the best team, but they're not the worst team. And even the worst team in that division is still pretty good.
Yeah.
I am going to pick the Bills, but my gut is telling me to take the Niners. I'm not going to. But I'm going to take the Bills with the gut. The gut is telling me Niners. Everything else is telling me Bills. It'll be really interesting to see if this is a letdown game, especially with a younger team in Buffalo, too.
That's right, especially looking ahead to the next week.
The Niners don't really have much to play for at this point. I mean, technically, can they still?
They do.
They can still make the playoffs, but it's going to be tough. I mean, they've got Washington, Dallas, Arizona, and Seattle. So at the best, after the Bills game, at the best I think they can go is 2-2.
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it. I don't think 8-8, even though the NFC is subpar, I think 9-7 will make it. 8-8 won't.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really interesting to see there.
Buffalo's playing San Francisco. Washington or Pittsburgh is playing Washington. Both on Monday night games.
Yep.
And they're both playing each other the following week. They're both looking at each other right now. And especially with Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Especially with Tomlin. Yeah. Because, he's going into this week. He's like, we just played a Wednesday game. He's probably going to slack off, today over this weekend.
You would think, but who knows?
I would think so. And historically, you would think he's going to slack off this week and look ahead to that Sunday night game against Buffalo, where they both should be coming off wins.
Should
be.
I mean, there's a very real possibility that we could be looking at 11-1 versus 8-4. There's also a very real possibility that we could be looking at 12-0 versus 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be the latter. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be the latter, but I think there's a better chance of the Bills losing this week than the Steelers based on location and opponent.
No, I agree.
So
I agree.
It'll be very interesting to see. We've got 5 minutes left in this show here. So let's take a look at the playoff picture for the AFC and NFC right now.
Okay. Start out with the AFC.
Obviously got the Steelers at 1 and Chiefs at 2. Okay. Right now the Titans are 3 over Buffalo's 4 because the Titans beat the Bills head-to-head.
Yeah.
Cleveland is in that first wild card spot at 8-3. Miami's in the 6 hole at 7-4. They win the tiebreaker over the 7-seed Indianapolis based on winning percentage in conference games. So they have a better record within the AFC than the Colts do. The Colts are the 7. That's the cutoff after the Colts. You have the 6-5 Raiders and the 6-5 Ravens. The Raiders have the tiebreak over Baltimore based on winning percentage in conference games also. Then you technically have New England at 5-6, who's technically still alive, but they're not.
Technically, yeah.
So my question to you is this our field of 7? Do these 7 teams, not the order, but the field, are these our 7 playoff teams?
You know, as much as I hate to say it, I don't think Miami can hold out. I don't think so. I know they have a big game against the Chiefs coming up. I don't think this week, but the next week, right?
Yeah. Bengals, Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, Bills. That's a tough schedule.
I don't see Miami holding out. I mean, if Miami can get to 10 wins, then they're in. But if they're at 9-7 in a very strong AFC, which we haven't seen in quite some time, maybe 5 years or so, I don't see Miami getting in. I could see Vegas or Baltimore, obviously, getting in.
I would go with. Oh man, I want Miami to make the playoffs so bad.
Oh, I want them too. I want to see Miami in the playoffs.
But I
want to see that.
I think it's gonna end up being the Raiders in the end, and I think that Week 16 game might be an elimination game. They play in Las Vegas. The Raiders got the Jets, Colts, Chargers, Dolphins, and Broncos. That's a easier schedule than Miami.
Yeah.
I think that winner of that, it's Saturday night at 8:15, that Week 16 game, because there's no college football. Saturday, December 26th, the day after Christmas, Dolphins at Raiders. It's going to be a really good game, but the Raiders at home are better than the Raiders on the road. If this game was in Miami, I would probably take the Dolphins, but I think the Raiders are going to win that. The Dolphins' future is very bright. But
100%.
I just think the Raiders they're good enough this year to sneak in there. So let's quickly go over the NFC here to wrap things up. We've got obviously the New Orleans Saints at 9-2. Seattle's at 8-3. They're tied with Green Bay at 8-3, but Seattle would be the number 2 seed if we started the playoffs today. Strength of victory would be the tiebreaker there. That's like the 4th or 5th tiebreaker.
Yeah.
That's 438 strength of victory to 420 strength of victory, which in my opinion, to get off topic real quick, is a very good stat. I've heard people say that it is an obsolete stat. That is a very good stat that is not utilized enough. The Giants are 4-7. They got the tiebreak for the division over Washington on head-to-head win percentage. They beat them head-to-head. The Rams are 7-4. The Bucs are 7-5, and the Cardinals are 6-5. I can say with a lot of deal confidence that this will be the field of 7. For the most part. Maybe the NFC East. But I'm
that's what I was going to say.
Confident in at least the 6 legitimate teams in this NFC. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is the field of 7 right here. Obviously, there's going to be seeding implications throughout the final 5 weeks of the season. But this is the field of 7 right here. I think you can, pretty much call it set unless Washington or Philly, come out and win the division. But
Yeah.
this is it right here. This is
Yep.
it.
So that's all the time we have for today. If we had to pick a Super Bowl matchup right now, 2 teams, go.
Green Bay, Kansas City.
Green Bay, Kansas City. I'll go Green Bay, Pittsburgh just to differ with you. Just to differ. That's all the time we have. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I feel like a real YouTuber now saying that, Alberto.
I was just thinking that.
Like and subscribe.
Comment.
You know what to do. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you more than likely on Tuesday with a recap of all this week's NFL action and more. You've been watching Cal and Sites. Have a good night.